Every September, some children walk into school and pick up right where they left off. Others don't. Maybe they're slower, maybe they seem rusty, maybe words that felt easy in June suddenly feel harder again. And here's the surprising part. Summer reading loss doesn't affect all children equally. In fact, the children most at risk are often the ones who are still building the foundations of reading. And that means the best summer reading plan may not be what most parents think it is. When most people think about summer reading, they picture library programs, reading challenges, and stacks of books. And those things are wonderful, but I've worked with struggling readers for over 15 years, and I've noticed something. Many families spend the entire summer focused on reading more books, while overlooking the skills that actually make reading possible. Because if a child is still learning how sounds connect to letters, how to blend words, and how to decode unfamiliar words, reading volume alone isn't always enough. When researchers look at summer reading loss, they don't find the same pattern for every child. Strong, fluent readers often keep practicing naturally. They read books, they play games, they interact with print throughout the summer. But children who are still developing foundational skills can lose automaticity surprisingly quickly. Think about learning a musical instrument. An experienced pianist can take a short break and get back into rhythm fairly quickly. A beginner who's still learning the basics often loses much more ground. Reading works the same way. That's why summer isn't just about keeping children reading. It's about keeping their reading skills active. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying children shouldn't read books. They absolutely should. But reading books and practicing reading skills aren't always the same thing. A child can spend the summer listening to audiobooks, being read to, or rereading familiar books they already know. Those are wonderful activities, but they may not provide much practice with decoding unfamiliar words. And that's where phonics and phonemic awareness come in. For children who are still developing reading foundations, those skills need occasional exercise too. The good news is that this doesn't require hours of tutoring or turning summer into summer school. In fact, I think one of the biggest misconceptions parents have is that reading progress requires huge amounts of time. It often doesn't. Just 5 to 10 minutes a few times a week can make a meaningful difference. You can play sound games in the car, you can practice phonics patterns for a few minutes, review sounds while you're walking the dog. The goal isn't intensive instruction. The goal is maintenance. You're simply keeping those reading muscles active until school starts again. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons I created the Active Readers Summer Club. Every year, parents tell me they want support reading over the summer, but they don't want to spend hours teaching and planning lessons or turning summer into school. They want the pool days, the campfires, the cottage weekends, and the beach trips. But they also want their child to keep moving forward as a reader. So Summer Club is designed to give families just a few minutes of structured reading practice each week, while still leaving plenty of time for everything that makes summer special. And if you're watching this when the video goes live, Summer Club opens this June and starts July 6th, and it runs every summer from here on out. I'll leave the link below if you'd like to learn more. I'd also like to know what's one reading activity your family does during the summer. Let me know in the comments. Because the final point is the one that matters most. When September arrives, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is confidence. Teachers aren't expecting children to come back dramatically ahead, but they do benefit when children come back feeling successful. A child who has maintained their foundational reading skills is much more likely to start the year feeling capable and ready to learn. And that's important because confidence drives practice, and practice drives growth, and growth builds stronger readers. So if there's one takeaway from this video, it's this. Summer reading shouldn't just be about finishing books. Books matter, reading enjoyment matters, but for children who are still building foundational skills, a few minutes of phonemic awareness and phonics practice each week can go a long way. Because the goal isn't just protecting reading skills, it's protecting momentum. And sometimes those small moments over the summer are what help children walk into September feeling confident, capable, and ready to keep growing. And if you'd like some simple phonemic awareness activities you can start using right away, watch this video next.